안녕하세요. Hello everyone. I'm Maggie and this is Craft in Korea, Floss Tube number 5. Today is April 10th and wow, it's been a month since I have seen you guys. I know you're probably wondering what I've been up to, so I've got a good video full of all sorts of things today, and let's just jump into it. So first things first, our Korean word of the day. Today I thought I would do my 5 survival Korean words. So we already learned all the good cross-stitchy words, and now you have to know 5 words that if you just even come to visit will save you, really save you. So you already know the first one, and that's 안녕하세요 or 안녕, and that's just hello, and it's just nice to be able to say a greeting to people as you walk around in Korea. The second is thank you, which is 감사합니다. 감사합니다. Thank you. So that was pretty easy and very useful when you get handed anything, buy anything. The third one is really good for when you're ordering food. So if you learn Korean alphabet or don't learn Korean alphabet, at some point you're going to be in a restaurant and you're going to order something, and even if you're reading like English menu prices and pointing, it's really polite to use the what I call the ordering word, and that's 주세요. 주세요. And it translates to like please give me. So if you want a hamburger, hamburger, 주세요. Water, 주세요. Cola, 주세요. So simple and easy, and people really appreciate just that little extra that you do. So one more time, 주세요. So that's please give me. The number 4 is excuse me. So Korea has a lot of people, especially in Seoul, and it can get really, really busy. So at points you might need to work your way through a crowd, and you don't want to just like shove everybody. And so my number 4 word is how to say excuse me in Korean, and that's 잠시만요. 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 And you just kind of say it as you're kind of moving your way. Oh, 잠시만요, 잠시만요. And while like it's not gonna be like the parting of the Red Sea, and people will jump out of your way, they'll kind of notice you're there and move to the side a little bit and make some space for you. So really a good one, number 4. Excuse me. Okay, and the 5th and final word is probably the most important, and that is how to say bathroom in Korean. So no matter where you are, at some point you're going to need to go, and it's best to know how to ask. So obviously you could make a whole sentence, but if you say the word bathroom, people kind of know what you need, right? So the word bathroom in Korean is 화장실. 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 And if you just go up to the person at like a restaurant, or even if you ask some random person on the street and you need to know where the bathroom is, if you say it, they'll probably point you in a direction or say like, I don't know, sorry man. But 5 survival Korean words that will make a trip to Korea super, super easy. So one more time, 5 words. 안녕하세요, hello. 감사합니다, thank you. 주세요, please give me. 잠시만요, excuse me. And number 5, 화장실, bathroom. So I hope you guys have been enjoying these little mini Korean lessons. They're kind of fun to do. again, leave me a comment down below if there's one that you think I should talk about. Okay, so let's get into some cross stitch related things. So first, I thought I'd do some Stitch email, and I only have one Stitch email this time. I haven't ordered anything, and so don't even have any packages coming. But I got my first ever cross stitch ATC. So back in March, for my last video, you remember I was stitching my first one ever for my partner, and the theme was alphabet soup. So my partner had to stitch something with the first letter of my name. And since my name is Maggie, the first letter was M. So my partner was at AL Youngblood 144 on Instagram, and I'll put her name down below so you guys can follow her. And she stitched me a sweet letter M and sent me a cute little note, and I'll just show you the package here. So she also sent some DMC floss, just 3 little random colors, kind of springy and fun. I like that. And then here is my first ever cross stitch ATC. She even put it in this cute little plastic case, so it's all protected, and I love it. The fabric is pink. I'm not sure you can tell. Get a little closer. And it's just so lovely with the butterfly and the different colors of purple. And so thank you so much, Mandy. Thank you. And she's at AL Youngblood 144 on Instagram, and I'll link her below. So yeah, it's my first one. Yay! So that was my one Stitch email for the month. And super, super happy and excited, and I can't wait to do the next one, which will be in May. So that one's really exciting. Okay, Stitch email finished. Now let's go on to the finishes. So obviously I stitched an ATC, and you guys didn't get to see it yet since my partner hadn't received it. Well, I got a bit carried away. So I designed a little mini stitch for my partner, whose name was Jennifer, and I put a letter J in blue, and then I wrote her name in Korean next to it. And I had so much fun doing it. I thought it was super cute, and so I made 2 more for my Stitchin' Misfits, Hanan and Annie, and I stitched them up as well and sent them on their way. So here is a picture of all 3 ATCs that I made. They were super, super fun and super addicting. So that was my finish, actually in the middle of, I guess, last video. Sometime in there, I finished all 3 of them. And the rest of them working on the parrot, so we'll see that. I do have one more mini finish. I stitched this adorable cupcake. Oh my gosh, it's so cute and so tiny. So tiny cupcake. Just because it's adorable. And it's from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I got a free little cupcake pattern when I got my Into the Jungle Sal, and I just stitched it up. And I'll be honest with you guys, I made a mistake and I miscounted where the eyes were supposed to go. So I did my first ever French knots for the eyes, and I just gave him a tiny little mouth because he's so cute. So cute. The floss that I used is a variegated floss that I will talk about here in a little bit. And it was my first time kind of working with variegated floss, so it's been kind of a learning curve, but I still think he's super cute. So ATC's cupcake, that's all I finished, and they're all tiny finishes, like super tiny finishes. But let's talk whips. So we'll do the tiny whip first because it's tiny and cute. So I started another cupcake. And so here's the whole cupcake, you can see. And I'm working on changing the variegation a little around, different ways. So it kind of gets dark to light to dark again. Just playing with it and trying to understand the best way to work with them before I start working with more variegated flosses that are expensive and not cheap like this one was. So that's my mini cupcake whip. And now the big one. The parrot, Mr. Chirpy, which he has been nicknamed by the Misfits. We've nicknamed him Mr. Chirpy. So here's my before pic. And I said last time that I wanted to finish pages 6, 7, and 8, I think were the pages. And I started working on that and I almost finished page 6. And then I changed how I was stitching. So up until last video, I was pretty much stitching just one page at a time and just going down page by page. So page 6 was mostly done and page 7 was starting. And I started a little bit expanding more colors into like the small, oh, this one only has 20 stitches, and I did all 20 stitches wherever they were. And I kind of stopped doing the pages and I just started doing it by color. First it was anything that was under like 100 stitches and then anything under 200 stitches. And now I'm down to the last like 5 colors. Yay! So obviously you want to see where he is now. So here we go. Here is the parrot. Okay, so since last time, obviously I filled in most of this page here. I have worked a lot on this little branch down here. And you can see it's a parrot now. So here's his big orange head, and here's his beak, and started his orange belly. So I have one more like yellow color. I think there's 2 yellows in here, maybe 2 colors. 2 shades of yellow in here. This gray color goes like everywhere. And like a dark brown, I think, goes up in here. So pretty much almost done. I feel like 5 or 6 colors left, stitching by color, so not a lot. And super excited and super happy with how it's coming out. I don't know how much you can tell on camera, but my grid lines are fading. And so I don't really need them much anymore, but I really hope that they all come out when I wash it, because that would not be fun to have all that work put in and have the grid lines not go away. But really super happy with it. I stitched him all in DMC, so he's color fast anyway, so washing won't be a problem. Just making sure that, you know, we can finish him up. And then I have to figure out where I'm going to put my initials, signature, how I'm going to do that. I'm not sure, but so much progress. Yay! Okay, we'll put Mr. Chirpy over here, and he can sit on the couch, and we can see him for the rest of the video. Okay, so whips, finishes, stitchy mail. Okay, acquisitions, purchases. It wouldn't really, I don't know how to put them all together. So I'll first do something I did. So you guys know I'm always crafting up something. I'm doing something. The last video I showed you my needle minders that I made out of the pen buttons. A couple videos ago I showed you guys my beer cap needle minders. I forgot what they were called for a second. And last month I made some ATCs, which I showed you. Well, I did a thing. When I started my cross stitch adventure in December, I went to the local shop and I bought some opalescent 14 count Aida. The parrot is stitched on it. All of the Norige charts that I've already done are stitched on it. I have a piece cut for one more. I still have some left. I actually have that piece right here. Sorry for ruffling. So, still pretty big size piece. It's got dust on it. So, pretty stiff. I mean, stiff Aida, just Aida. And I've been watching lots of Floss Tube, and everyone's getting into all sorts of like dyeing and hand dyeing, and I can't really find any dyes easily here that are not like ridiculously expensive. And I remembered that, I watch Priscilla and Chelsea every week. So I watch Priscilla and Chelsea, Real Housewives of Cross Stitch, and they always do all their stitching on coffee tea dyed Monaco. I think that's right. And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be really cool to do. Well, I remembered they had a video where they showed how they did their coffee tea dye. So I went and watched the video, got my strongest black tea, threw like a whole bunch of it in a big old pot, heated it up, waited for it to get dark, and dumped my fabric in. And this is what it looks like. So this is the front. It's got more darker spots, which I'll talk about in a second. And then this is the back. I say it like it only has one side. You can use whatever side I want, right? So after I put it in the pot, they were like, we'll leave it for 30 minutes. And within like 10 minutes, I was like, oh, it's getting so dark. It's scary. And I pulled it out. But I was also planning on doing the baking method afterwards to make it set, because that's what they do. So I went ahead and started baking it. And I did bake it for almost probably 20 or 30 minutes. And that gave me that nice dark spots, which I love, 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 love. So nice. It has gotten obviously a lot softer than before because it got wet and all the starch came out. But I love that. I'm so proud of it. So here's what's crazy. Like, I felt like I barely put it in the coffee, in the tea. It was just tea, no coffee. This is the original white. This is the color now. So I can't see my viewfinder, so I'm not sure if this is coming up really well. But now you can really see the difference before and after. I did rinse and wash it afterwards with cool water. So like I said, it was getting scary dark. But I just love it. I just love it. I'm looking for a piece to put on it. Haven't decided yet. It'll probably be a mania thing that I do, where I find some little piece to put there. Maybe something primitive or something more classic, just so that it can kind of go with it. So love that. Super cute. Okay, second set of purchases. So in Korea, we have a store called Daiso. It's a dollar store. I kind of talked about it last time. It's where I got my clicky highlighters. Well, they have a crafting section, and they have some things. So I bought like all the things, and thought I would just try them out. Like, if they're terrible, it cost me like $1, so how can I complain, right? So the first thing I got was needle threaders, which I've never used before now. I usually just thread my own needle. And so I thought that would be super cool to try those. Especially because some of my needles are harder to it's hard to get it through. So, tried those. They work great. I already taken one out, so I have a good little set. And they were like $1. The second thing that I thought I would try was their really cheap floss. So this is my Daiso embroidery floss. It is 100% cotton. I got the mixed colors because I figure solid colors I can just buy DMC. I know it's good stuff. I know it'll be the right color I need. But for variegations, it'll be fun. So the cupcake, I'm using this first one. This is open. I know it doesn't. I'm using this first one. But they have a couple different pinks. These yellows look the same to me. Blue, a couple greens, purples. I don't know. I just thought it was really fun to try those out. They're definitely cheap. Like, compared to DMC, it's rough. And my Ada, I know, is stiff and rough, but it's not super, super glossy soft. But they're fun, and for like ATCs and quick little cute stitches, I think they're going to be great and fun, and I'll enjoy them. This third thing I got, I almost said second thing, like I can't count, were their French embroidery needles. It tells you their numbers, but I don't actually know what the numbers mean. It might say on the back. So usually we talk about like, oh, it's a 28 or a 26. This does not have any of those numbers. It has a number 4, 2 number 4s, 4 number 5s, 2 number 6s, and 4 number 7s. And so it's like 7, 6, 5, 4 going to the inside. They are super sharp because they're French embroidery needles. They're for just stitching on linen and for like not having to be like, where's the hole? Just stab it in the fabric. So definitely poked my finger a couple times. But they thread so easily, so quick and easy. I don't even need the needle threader with these guys, which is super nice. And it does go pretty, when I'm using the DMC and not the cheap threads, I feel like it just glides so nicely. So for $1 for like 12 needles, cannot complain about that. So right now I'm using the number 7, which is recommended for 2 to 3 strands because I stitch with 2 strands over 2 on the 14 count Ada. But super, super cool find, cheap, like them. They're fun. I'm still going to use my bow and needles when I start Into the Jungle Sal. So those are fun. Been enjoying playing with that. Okay, so plans. I always have a plan section, and someone said that they were like evolving ideas, and I definitely feel like that's how my plans are going these days. There will be some Mania plans. Hopefully there will be a video before Mania. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Just because I want to decide what I'm doing and have a set, this is what I'm doing for Mania, and then be able to tell everybody. The second thing you probably are all wondering about is my planets, which you're like, Maggie, you have the pattern. You can kit the floss. You need to buy fabric. What are you waiting on? So, those who don't remember or new watchers, I'm going to stitch stem stitches planets all on one big piece of fabric. I want the sun in the middle and the planets to kind of be around the outside to make like a big picture. The stem stitch patterns are gorgeous and beautiful, and I love them, but they are individual patterns. So it's like the sun, the moon. Well, to make the patterns easy to read, they're all like maximized to the page. So the moon takes up almost the whole page, and Jupiter takes up the same page without going on to a second page. Well, Jupiter is obviously much bigger than the moon, so the moon's boxes are bigger. So to chart the space in the middle, I was like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to figure out how big this fabric needs to be? So I came up with a brilliant idea. You'll see how brilliant it was in a minute. So what I thought I would do is I would get some graph paper. So here's my graph paper. And I would draw just the circle. So there's Mercury. Oh, beautiful Mercury. And then the idea was that I could like cut them out and lay them on the floor and figure out, like even use extra spacing between so I could measure exactly how many it would be and how big it was. And basically rechart everything onto one big chart and just when doing the colors, go look at the Mercury chart. Okay, so here's Mercury. Paper rustling. Venus. Earth. A little baby moon. Mars. And you can see these are all pretty much same size, so that's good. So Jupiter got a little bit bigger. Jupiter. Saturn. Because that's a ring. Uranus, which is missing its ring, so I might add one. We'll see. And Neptune. And we can't forget Pluto. I still count Pluto, even if other people don't. There's Pluto. So, all done. Here's the sun. Big old sun. There's the sun. This is huge. The sun when stitched is only like 5 inches. So this is easily 3 times bigger than it's supposed to be. If I lay these out even on the floor of my living room, it's gonna take the whole freaking room. And I feel like I won't be able to really tell if the spacing is right. Like, oh, maybe it should be further apart or maybe it should be closer together. So I'm back to square one on this planets project. I am thinking about, my second idea was to buy a compass. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy one of those math compasses and draw basically circles for each one, even though I know, like, obviously Saturn's not a circle. It's got rings. The sun has, like, some sun flares. So it's not a perfect circle. But I'm going to draw all the circles and then get a big piece of paper and kind of space them out how I want them in stitched size. So then I can just measure the paper and buy the fabric. So difficult for such what I thought was going to be such a simple project, and it's become so big. But I'm super going to love it when it's finished. I just have to get there. As for fabric, I'm still considering options, different sellers. A couple, like 3 or 4 different companies throughout Europe, and I think one of them's in Brazil. Throughout the world, I should say, have a lot of different hand-dyed colors. Then because they're already international, they tend to have better shipping rates to Korea. So I'm considering those things as I look around at different options. And price is going to make a big factor too. I was hoping to make this like a big important piece and do it maybe on like a linen or something like that. But you know, if it comes down to it, we'll do it on Aida. That's fine. If I have to buy a whole yard, we're going to do it on Aida because way too expensive. But yeah, so that's my stitchy update. I have one more fun update. Well, fun for me. I hope you guys enjoy it too. And that's my knitting. So I have been knitting, even if you haven't seen it in a while. And the last time I talked about my knitting, I was starting up my baby blanket to work on so I could be ready when there was a baby. So been plugging away. I think I've done now 4 or 5 repeats. 4 repeats maybe? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 repeats. So here it is. So love the color. Hope you guys can see the pattern. So it's really starting to show that like the cross weaving pattern. I switched to some smaller needle cables because it was getting very long. And we're almost in the floppy area of the second ball. So moving right along. Loving it. It's so soft. It's really easy to pick up when I'm like finished with studying. So yeah, that's my stitchy update, guys. I missed you. I know I should have come back earlier, but things just get really busy. April is my birthday month, so gonna be a little bit busy, but hoping to get one more video out in April before May, so I can tell you my mania plans and what I'm gonna do. And maybe if I get some birthday haul, you know, buy some things for myself for my birthday, then I'll show you guys those. And then we'll do mania stuff in May. And that's pretty much it. May's going to be really crazy busy, so definitely want a video before the May starts. And I guess I'm rambling now since I'm just talking about nothing. I'll see you guys next time. Happy stitching. Bye.